everyone, welcome back to my channel, Diamonds and Washi. My name is Katie and welcome back for another WIP and Chat. If you are new, first off, of course, welcome. I'm really glad that you're here and hope that you've been doing well. On my channel, you're going to find lots of diamond painting content, including these weekly WIP and Chats. WIP stands for work in progress, and virtually always you're going to be seeing me work on a diamond painting, which I'll tell you more about in just a moment. And chat just means that we're going to hang out and chat for the next hour or so. And we'll talk about life and diamond painting and YouTube and just kind of whatever comes to mind and what's been going on. So feel free to pull out a project to work alongside me, settle in with a cup of coffee. If it is morning when you're watching this, or heck, whenever you're drinking coffee, you drink coffee whenever you want to. My husband, bless his heart, he could drink a cup of coffee and then turn around and go straight to bed. That ADHD is great, as he puts it. So you do you guys. Grab a snack if you want. And yeah, feel free to diamond paint too. Tell me all about what you're working on in the comment section if you are so inclined. And if you are back, of course, I'm so glad that you are here as well. Thank you for spending your time with me and being back. So, okay, let's talk about what I'm working on and with today. You will find links to everything in the description box of this video. And the kit we're going to be working on is called Mermaid Lovers, right? Mermaid Lovers? Hold on, let me check. I think it was Mermaid Lovers. Okay, by the artist Erin Dainty. And this is from Jaded Gem Shop and is a crop of the original artwork. The original artwork is much wider. It has a lot more ocean to it on either side, but I wanted to go for more of like a panel style and just crop in on the, subjects and stuff. So I'm gonna yawn. I'm sorry. Hold on. I cannot stop yawning today. It's been a busy weekend. We'll talk about it. This is, like I said, from Jaded Gem Shop. It was made to order. I'll kind of describe the process in a bit about what that can look like and the different options that they have and stuff. But this is, in short, the hybrid or more computer charted rendering. So you're going to see a lot of confetti, and it's also my first round drill kit from the shop, which has been fun. Now, accessories wise, this is the first time I'm going to be using this pen. I actually kind of managed to mostly coordinate colors and style and stuff because these look like mermaid scales or dragon scales. This is a pen that I bought from a D-stash recently. I have not bought a pen, I don't think at all in 2026. I have scaled way back on my purchasing in general for a variety of reasons, but when I saw this particular pen come up in a D-stash, between the color palette and the dragon scales and the turning and everything, I had to have it. This is like one of the most me pens I've ever seen in my life. I'm pretty sure that this is from Donna Bass, and so I'll link to her shop and you can check her out. But yeah, I grabbed this in a D-stash, but I haven't used it yet, so we're going to try it out together today. This tray is from Bijou Bliss and is one of, I think, the first trays I got from them a while back. And it's like this really pretty sparkly rose gold filament. I've lost the stopper, but it does normally come with a magnetic stopper in the end there. They're the first ones that really did these magnetic lids and stuff like this, so I like their trays. And then I'm going to be using Patty Wax Super Sticky in my single placer. I've had this tin for 6 years now. And then I found mermaid themed / scented dot putty from Butterfly Effectors. I'm going to use that in my multi-placer. So let me grab a metal multi-placer and clean it out so we can load it up with some fresh putty. And then we can load up with wax, and then we can get started. So these are the thin metal 12 placers from Diamond Art Club. They basically are the only multi-placer that I use at this point. No idea what putty was in here before I grabbed this out of another pen. And this putty probably didn't necessarily need to be yoinked out, but that's what I grabbed. So this is what we're going with. It's kind of acting kind of soft anyway, so it's probably just as well. Anyway, I like the metal multi-placers from DAC. They are thinner than most of the placers on the market, and they go up to a 12 placer size. So, yeah, it ticks all the boxes for me. Like I said, I'll have these accessories linked below if you want to go do some shopping for yourself. I don't think it's the exact scent. This is from a while back from Butterfly Effectors. They will do different scents each week depending on the pen that, the pen that they're releasing, the colorway for their pens. they'll usually do a matching scented putty, and they'll sometimes do restocks of other scents too. Like I said, it's been a long time since I've bought a pen or even a putty from a shop, so I'm a little admittedly out of touch. So if I'm giving you out of date information, I'm really sorry. I occasionally will poke my head into Butterfly Effect Wear shop and just sort of see what they've got, but I haven't purchased in quite some time. But I see putty there in stock pretty often. And then Patty Wax Super Sticky, probably not available in this exact tin anymore. And this is, I've been using it for 6 years. Let me go ahead and knock out some of that extra stuff. I don't tend to use their wax in my multi-placer. I find it to be a little tricky to load. I like putty in my multi-placer. But for single placer, I just try to like kind of scoop in and rotate my pen and scoop some more, so that I'm kind of packing the wax in there. And then I just kind of scrape off the excess. So there's that. And then let's open this up. I don't need this lid. We'll get started, and I'll set my focus that it's not going in and out a bunch. You can see where we're at in the canvas. You can see that their faces are up here. Right now I'm on their torsos. And this has been a really interesting experience. This is the hybrid charted version, so it's really confetti heavy. There's not a computer charted version of this kit available. I'm sorry, there's not a hand chart. Did I say that weird? I can't remember. There's not a hand charted version of this kit currently available. You could go in and add it to like the request list, but I think that is pretty long, so I don't know how long it would take to get to. But I fell in love with this artwork and bought this quite a while ago. And oh my gosh, it was terrible first line of drills placed. I did not lay that down well at all. I'm just going to fix this. Just pretend like you didn't see that. That was terrible. It's fine. Yeah, I bought this one a few years back. I just really fell in love with the artwork, and this was, I think, when they were really just first starting to roll out some hand-charted kits. So I have replaced a lot of my computer-charted kits from Jada Gem Shop with the hand-charted versions if they've come out. But when it came down to it, I just really wanted to work on this one as is. And so that's what I decided to do. It's my first round drill kit I've worked on from this shop. I'm trying to remember if I worked on this in any of my WIP and Chats. It's been a WIP for a few weeks because I have been participating in this 26 for 26 challenge. And that's being put on by Nicole over at Shire Shenanigans. And I'll link to her announcement video as well as my kind of kickoff video where I talked about how I was going to be approaching this challenge. I am not taking this to the extent that some are, that's the beauty of it, is you can do this challenge however you personally would like to. I am not going to try to have 26 projects kitted up all at once. It's just not practical for me in my space. Instead, what I've taken this challenge to mean for me is that I want to work on a lot of WIPs, which is outside of my norm, but sounded like fun, and I have been having a lot of fun doing it. So I've had this in a rotation with 6 or 7 other kits, kind of depending on which ones are in various stages of completion. And I really always am happy when I come around to this being this kit's turn. And I have been really pleasantly surprised with how nice Jaded Gem Shop's round drills are to work on. I just wasn't sure what my feelings would be about them, but they've been pretty solid quality. And knowing that I was going into this kit with that it had a computer rendering helps me not be at all bothered by the softness of the rendering. You can see a lot of the confetti that's going on over here and the size point that I chose. Look, I knew what I was getting into and I'm fine with it. I'm having a great time. So that's really my goal. And this 26 for 26 challenge has continued to, I feel like, be a really good way for me to get through kits that otherwise would have burned me out. The main kits that I feel like I would have had a much less enjoyable experience with working on if I had only been working on those kits, like only this one kit, is Star Sailor by the Creativity Squirrel. I'm not enjoying as much as I was hoping that I would. And if I were working on that one straight from start to finish with no breaks to work on other kits, I think I would burn out. Herald of Spring from Diamond Dots is so huge and extremely confetti heavy with very little going on in large chunks of it, I also think that I would have really, really burned out on that particular kit if I would have just worked on it straight through start to finish. So it's also helped with some kits, like I just posted a post review of Semblance by Margaret Morales, the version from DIY Moonshop. And I think going into that kit knowing this is what I'm going to be getting into as far as the rendering goes and the symbols that they liked to use at this point and that sort of thing, and knowing that I'm only going to do a row on this one before I get to move on to another project that's not going to give me these same problems, you know, this challenge has just magically addressed a number of different things that I think otherwise would have made these WIPs less enjoyable. So I'm a fan of it. What I am running into now, though, is a mix of some decision paralysis and laziness, which is a terrible combination of factors. Decision paralysis and laziness means that I'm not getting new projects kitted up, but I want to. I'm sitting here going, I want to get more WIPs in the mix. I'm pretty confident that in last week's WIP and Chat, I did, because I almost came into last week's WIP and Chat ready to kit up a new project for Mother's Day, and I couldn't decide, so I didn't. Yeah, that was a week ago that I was like, it's time to kit up something new. You guys, it's a week later. I haven't kitted up anything new. I've just completed more projects, and so, I'm stuck. So it's a combination of I am torn on what I want to go ahead and kit up, because I'm in the mood to work on something from one of my favorite artists at Diamond Art Club. I don't have a particular one in mind. I'm just thinking about, I have, 5 or 6 top favorite artists over there, and I'm just in the mood to work on one of the many kits I have in my stash from them. I'm thinking a Mrs. Butter D, a Chrysabug, a Margaret. I know I'm missing one that I'm going to feel really dumb about. There's like 4 or 5 different artists over there, and I'm thinking I'd like to go ahead and work on one of those. But I have this recurring thought in the back of my head of, what if DAC drops like a killer, like top favorite, like a Marigo Nasuli there, like of course that's who I always forget her, because she's kind of newer to like my favorite artist rotation, because we only started getting kits from her at DAC like a year ago or something compared to the others. Anyway, I'm convinced that if I start a kit from one of these, top favorite artists of mine, that next week they're going to come out with a banger, and I'm going to feel like I want to work on it right away, and then going to feel like this weird sense of imbalance if I work on kits back to back from my top favorite artists, or God forbid at the same time. I don't know why I have a hang up about this. I think it has to do with a similar reason to why I have a rainy day stash, which is that I want to spread out the way that I get to enjoy working on kits from artists that I truly, truly love, I think is part of it. And so it's like, I don't want to feel like I wasted working on a Margaret Morales kit, when I could have saved it. I don't know. It's a weird kind of convoluted thought process, I have to admit. So I'm a little stuck with that. I also, when it comes down to it, like I said, a little bit of laziness. When I sit down, when I have a moment, I think because I have been a little bit busier, my anxiety has been higher the past, week or two. When I actually feel like, okay, I have the time and the energy and everything to sit down and diamond paint, I just want to sit down and diamond paint. I don't want to sit down and kit up. I like kitting up, but I want the mindlessness of actual diamond painting, So those two things have stopped me from kitting up more projects, even though I want to. I feel the same as I did a week ago, where I said, I want to work on more kits. So I know that life is too short to sit here and worry about like, but what if, and I'll get over it. But for the moment, I'm having a hard time. I think probably, like I said, because there are just other factors at play, like some stressors and stuff like that. And so, I don't know. I don't know if you guys feel like when you have a higher stress level or when you're busier, that you just have less margin, less room for stuff that, like spoons. It's like spoon theory, right? I just have fewer spoons to do stuff. So, and to like spend mental energy on, but I'll get over it. I'll get past it. And I'll kit up something new, darn it, because I'm not going to finish this kit. I'm going to finish this row, and then it'll be time to move on to my next project. But I'm about to have like 2 more finishes back to back. My Diamond Design Company mini, the like, I think I worked on it with you guys last week, right? The bedroom in a bottle one. That one is next up after this kit, and that'll be finished. And then I'm going to work on, what's the name of it? Not Illuminous Sky. The Impressionist Sky from Yume and Diamond Art Club. I only have 1 row left on that one, and so that's about to be a finish as well. So it's time. It's time to get some new projects in the mix. And then like June is just around the corner, so I'll have an old masters kit to work on as well. Yeah, it's gonna be, there's fun things ahead. So how is it going for you guys? What are you currently working on? Are you currently multi-whipping or mono-whipping? And how are you feeling about your current project? Is it something that you're super excited to get to work on at the end of the day? Or is it something that you're really not enjoying and it's actually affecting your desire to diamond paint? And if it's the latter for you, can I encourage you to potentially table your project and pull out something new? Or heck, if you're hating it and you need someone to give you permission to rehome it, or even, hold on, there's a spider that just went across the floor. Hold on, you guys. All right, my heart has stopped racing. It's been taken care of. No further details. I'm not going to spook any arachnophobes any more than I already did, but that was not fun, and I'm so glad that it's over. Anyway, we're going to move right along. So if you need someone to give you permission to get rid of your project, whether that's rehoming it or tossing it, life is too short to work on something that you are hating. So it's okay. I know we really don't want to like contribute to waste and everything, but as long as you're not doing this kind of thing like willy-nilly and whatnot, it's okay. Just get rid of it. Go work on something that you cannot wait to get to when you're free. You know, that's the kind of feeling you should be channeling and feeling when you think about whatever your whip is. So I'm not going to preach at you any more than that. It's more intended to be just you needed someone to tell you that it's okay to get rid of the project. It's okay. Get rid of the project. And tell me all about what project you're going to pull out instead that you're super excited about. Anyway, I am definitely enjoying getting to work on a lot of different projects with having multiple whips going. This is just, it's working well for me. And I like I've been saying a lot since I started this process, I don't know how long it's going to last, but I'm along for the ride as long as it does last. So thanks for joining me for this crazy ride as well. And it's okay if it's not for you. Yeah, so Summer with the Masters is going to be coming up, which is an old Masters themed event that I've been hosting for like 6 years now. And it's just a super relaxed, chill kickback for the summer and work on some classic artwork kind of event. And I have my John William Waterhouse piece on the way. It's probably going to be chock full of confetti, but that's old Masters artwork for you. It's what I'm expecting, and I am ready to just settle in and have multiple whips going so that I don't hopefully burn out on that particular piece. But hopefully it's going to turn out well. I feel like really confetti heavy computer charted pieces tend to, like, that style of rendering seems to often work pretty well for old Masters artwork. So I'm cautiously optimistic, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I, of course, will keep you guys posted. Where did I end up getting my old Masters kit from? I actually got it as a custom from Evermoment, which I know that this could be a topic of conversation. I do not support buying unlicensed artwork, but if it's artwork that's in the public domain and just for a variety of reasons, like kind of price shopping and stuff like that, that's where I ended up getting my custom from. Also, timing. I needed to be able to get it pretty quickly because I procrastinated. So I will keep you guys posted on what my experience with that was like, or if you have questions about how to go about that process. I've gotten a custom from Evermoment and like cross-stitch conversion materials from them before, and they tend to be pretty helpful and communicative. So yeah. Like I said, with something like public domain artwork, I'm okay with going this route because I feel like I'm above board in terms of licensing. And I know this could be a little bit more nuanced conversation than that, and I'm open to that. I can handle some critique and some back and forth. As always, I'll just ask that we all keep it respectful and whatnot, and that we can be receptive to hearing other people's point of view. But I'm not going to get into it too much further than that. I just wanted to mention that I do have my annual John William Waterhouse piece on the way. And actually, I just got a notification that it cleared customs. So it should be here. It should be here this week and on time for the event, which is a relief. I wasn't sure because I just, like I said, procrastinated too much again. So yeah. Let me see. Let me check my notes after I place this line of diamonds here. I'm riding the struggle bus with placing these. But at least there's some nice color blocking. This background color I think is the same the whole rest of the way up. It's been a gradual gradient. There's actually like 3 different colors of white and off-white in the mix here. And you can see that there's 2 as I get down here. But I'm kind of color blocking up here first, and then I'll fill in down here. Let's see. Oh, so I've been pleasantly surprised by the response to the video I put up today, which was a post review of Semblance from DIY Moonshop, but I also decided to try to turn it into more than just that. I have talked to you guys often about how I am not always sure how to approach doing reviews, showing kits on my channel that are from shops that are closed. And even just like discontinued kits from shops that are open. It feels like I want to find ways to still make that video feel helpful. Because in my mind, the chief purpose of a post review is for you to get to see a completed kit and hear about my experience of working on that kit from that company, so you can decide if A, you want to go and get that exact kit from that company, or B, want to buy from that company, period. So when neither of those things are possible, it's like, okay, well, I kind of still want to do this review video, but I feel like there's things we can talk about as part of that. And so as I was writing up my notes on Semblance and filling out my logbook, I was thinking about what are some things that come to mind as I'm thinking about reviewing this kit. What was my experience like of working on this kit this time? And how would I compare it to other kits and what I'm looking for in my diamond painting experience? What's some kind of helpful discussion I feel like we could still have? And so I went the direction of talking about what some of my priorities and deal breakers are when it comes to diamond painting, and how I could use that kit as an example to illustrate those things, and to talk really frankly about how, if I got a kit, if I ended up with this experience from Diamond Art Club, like this rendering, or I don't know, other like the way that they do the symbols and stuff, I would be disappointed because it's not what I would expect from DAC. But because this was, I went into it knowing what to expect, and I just was there for basically for the vibes of enjoying like the artwork, even though the render wasn't great. Or I should say, at least it wasn't my personal style, because I don't want to insult anyone because I know you guys exist. People that genuinely prefer that high confetti level computer charting, which is valid. I'm not sarcastic when I say that. It is valid to like that kind of rendering style. It's not for me in terms of, as a general rule. I say as I work on a super confetti heavy kit. But again, I knew what I was getting into, and I'm here for it anyway. So anyway, I have been pleasantly surprised with the response to that video. I didn't know if it would be people annoyed in the comments about like, why did you bother doing this? I can't even get this kit. And that hasn't so far been my experience. We'll see if that changes, which is fine if people have that opinion. But I wasn't sure how that would go over. So thank you guys for your feedback on it. And again, I'm open to your feedback and your thoughts if there's something you'd like to see a little bit differently, or if you did or didn't find that particularly helpful. I would love to hear all of it. But yeah, I enjoyed getting to sort of chat a bit about what I look for in diamond paintings, what my priorities are, that kind of thing. And then I've also been thinking a little bit about, this just came up in a conversation with some friends earlier, asking for advice on a situation, and it made me think about a video I had mentioned like a month ago when I had my diamond painting anniversary, and I talked about how there are some different video ideas that I will basically come back to and kick around every, like a couple of times a year. I'll come back to this like jot list of notes, this sort of rough outline of a couple, like two in particular different video ideas. One is what I wish I knew when I started diamond painting, and the other is what I wish I knew when I started a diamond painting YouTube channel, or when I joined the diamond painting YouTube community. And I tend to go back to those a couple of times a year, make some notes on, you know, what my current thoughts are on these topics, and then try to figure out, do I want to do a video on this, and then ultimately end up tabling it, because one, I feel like it needs more time and thought, and two, because I just am concerned that it's going to come off pretentious or something, or I don't know, come off some type of way that's not what I intend. So then it ends up just not getting made, kind of like, I know I want to start a new diamond painting, but I get stuck in decision paralysis, so it just doesn't get done. And sometimes I just have to say, you know what? You cannot let perfect be the enemy of good. Just do the thing and put it out there. Something is better than nothing. My gosh, there's so many videos that if I would have kept trying to perfect it and perfect it and perfect it, it just never would have gotten made. And there's so many that I'm so glad that I just put out there anyway. So if these are videos that you would be interested in seeing from me or not, I would be interested to hear from you. And I don't know, the one in particular about YouTube just feels like that one makes me nervous. It makes me nervous because I don't know, there's lots of different personalities and approaches and kinds of people in the diamond painting YouTube world, and I just am so afraid that I would manage to upset or offend someone when that couldn't be any further from the truth of what my intentions would be with it. And I just don't want to, frankly, I don't want to paint a target on my back by doing a video like that. So I would just want to make sure I'm navigating it as kindly and as gracefully as I possibly can, and just make it about like my own experience and things that I feel like would, I don't know, people could actually find helpful. Like just being yourself, just trying to find your own voice, you know, things like that. So I don't know, but it's fresh on my mind again. Also comes with it being, today's actually my oldest birthday, and birthdays and other like big milestone days always put me in a very, very reflective mood. It has me kind of thinking about the passage of time and thinking about things I want to try to make sure that I do, looking at things that I've been intending to do but haven't gotten to. So I'm in this pensive, reflective, kind of introspective kind of state of mind. So it makes sense that this is on the brain. I don't know. I'll keep noodling on it. I'll pull that notebook out yet again, stare at those pages and see, okay, do I want to do it this time? Yeah, we'll see. And yeah, so speaking of birthdays, like I said, today was my oldest birthday. He turned 11. When I started diamond painting, he was 5. When I started YouTube, he was 6. It's just, He's such a cool kid. He's really, really a cool kid. His name is Connor. And just looking at the ways that he's changed and grown over the past year has been really cool. And he's still very, very obsessed with railroad crossings, trains too, but like railroad crossings are the specific special interest that he has and has had for well over a year now. Side note, it's really hard to find things like railroad crossing books and other things specific to that. Plenty of stuff on trains, but like the bells and the mechanics and all that kind of the signals and stuff. Thank goodness for YouTube. He's found all kinds of really, really in-depth information on YouTube about things. But so we had a weekend full of celebrating Connor. On Friday, Adam actually went down to see his parents and he took Connor with him. Micah and I didn't go because it was going to be a pretty late night and they were going to a show that Micah probably wouldn't have had as fun a time at. Which is all completely fine. And they'd originally invited, they were like, oh, and Adam, we didn't know if you and Katie wanted to come down and get a sitter for the kids, or like it's this really family-friendly thing. If you and Connor wanted to come. Micah would just have a really hard time sitting still for something like that. And so we knew it wouldn't be for him, but sometimes it's nice for Connor to get to go and do something special with his grandparents or vice versa. So it worked out, especially because it was Connor's birthday weekend. So they got to do like some presents down there and go to the show, and he had a great time. I thought it was really fun. It was like an improv show, but like I said, really family friendly. Something that Adam's dad has gotten really involved in with being retired, and since they moved out here, I think he's looking for ways to like, I don't want to trivialize it when I say like make friends, but like, yeah. And I've heard things like, I guess, improv and other kinds of learning environments like that can help retired folks just like stay really sharp and stuff. And yeah, so I thought that was really cool, and it was neat of them to invite Adam and Connor down. So they had a great time. And then Saturday we got together with Adam's sister and her kids. We went to a park. I made some funfetti cupcakes, and the kids played for a couple hours. We brought some games with us. Connor completely kicked my butt at Connect 4. And not like I let him win. I was trying to be strategic. This kid outsmarted me, and I thought, I can't believe this is happening. We've turned into our parents. Like Adam said that Connor straight up beat him too. And I thought, we were these kids once. We were running circles around our parents when it came to things like video games and technology and stuff like that. And now it's us. And I'm like, what the heck? But so yeah, Connor kicked my butt at Connect 4, and we brought like 4 different versions of Uno, and we just had a nice time. The weather has been so nice. After we had that really weirdly hot April, May has been a lot more pleasant. We're actually getting more of our typical spring weather where the highs are in like the very low 70s. It's my happy place, especially knowing that summer is around the corner. That heat is going to be back with a vengeance. So I am soaking up every bit of this cooler weather here, relatively speaking. I live in Southern California, so we have very, very mild seasons. But I still vastly prefer our, quote, winter weather where it's a bit cooler and stuff. So I'm enjoying it while it lasts. But it made for a very pleasant park day because we weren't like sweating our way through it or anything. Yeah, this is a new shade of white. I know we're not zoomed in so you can't tell, but like this shade of white is different from this shade of white. So it's very subtle. So that was our Saturday. And then Connor's birthday meal request was Chick-fil-A, which we almost never get. And so we needed to go on Saturday though, because they're closed on Sundays. We're like, well, for your birthday, yes, like, well, that was your one request for your birthday meal. We can do that. So I know, but we did. We went for his birthday. My kids could live on Chick-fil-A chicken nuggets and regularly asked to go. So it was, we went for his birthday. Anyway, so that was Saturday. And then today, woke up and Micah had like gotten into the cupcakes before we were even out of bed, and I like woke up and came down and there was a cupcake wrapper on the table, and I was like, Micah, did you eat a cupcake? And he looks at me with like a little bit of icing around his mouth. He was like, yes. And I was like, buddy, let's not eat cupcakes at 7:30 in the morning, okay? They love cupcakes, and I just didn't put them up well enough and hadn't reminded him not to eat one until after lunch. But so then he opened some gifts, some things that my parents had mailed, and a couple of things that we had gotten for him, and he was very happy. So we, again, feeling very much like stereotypical parents at this point. One of the things Connor had asked for, he at first said a drum set, and Adam and I just kind of exchanged a look, and I just thought, well, we're not getting like a traditional drum set. Like, we're not doing that to ourselves or to our neighbors. But I decided to poke around because I knew that like electronic drum sets are an option, even like just electric drum pads. And I thought, for something like this, like let's give it a try. So I did find one on Amazon with great ratings, and we had asked like, oh, what were you thinking with that? And I guess there's a couple of bands that he really likes listening to, and I guess there are YouTube videos of drum covers of some of their songs where there's like camera angles and everything where he can see the drummer playing. And so he knew exactly what he was thinking of and like why he wanted it. So we thought, okay, like sure, let's give this a try. And it was actually really kind of cool, you guys. We got it set up and plugged in. It's this really small mat that you can kind of roll up a little bit. It's like not even much bigger than the size of what you're seeing in frame. And actually, you know what? It's right here on the table. I can kind of show you. I'll pull it over. So it's this drum pad thing. I'm sorry, I can't pull the camera out to show you, but it's got all these different settings on it. And then each of these, when you hit it, it makes like the sound for that part of the drum set. And it comes with a couple of pedals and stuff for like the bass drum and what's the hi-hat? I don't remember. Musical background did not really extend to just the traditional drum sets. Okay. And what he ended up doing was he pulled up a YouTube video on his tablet of one of these drum covers and proceeded to play along with it. And I'm not going to be one of those like parents that just like glazing their kid for no reason, but I was genuinely impressed with how quickly he just was following along super, super, super well. He was even holding the drumsticks correctly. I was like, okay, all right. And he spent, I don't know, like a couple hours today just like doing that. And he was having a great time. Micah was really interested in it, of course, though admittedly mostly just hitting it, and not following along with anything like Connor was. And I kind of it makes me want to revisit potentially like seeing if, I don't know, looking into what the school does for kids that are interested in playing percussion in band. It's too late. We're at the end of the school year for 5th grade band. But I remembered when we had initially looked at the information for 5th grade band, there was this like big asterisk next to percussion as the option. It was like by audition only. And so even though Connor had originally mentioned that, I just, we said, oh, well, it's probably for kids that have like had lessons. And we just ended up not going that route. And then he was just very kind of a little bit interested in it, but mostly then said, oh, I would rather just stay in vocal. And he's really loved vocal, but I'm kind of, if he's interested in this, I might talk to the band teacher at the school and just be like, so what goes into the process of potentially getting involved with percussion, and like what would we potentially need to do, because I would love to nurture that in him. Band had a significant impact on my life in middle school and high school. I cannot understate that it was extremely defining for me. It's where I made friends and found like where I fit in. And it just, on a larger scale, contributed to where I decided to like go to college and what I majored in, though admittedly I'm not using that degree right now for a wide variety of reasons, but I still have a very deep love and appreciation for music, and I just can't imagine what high school would have been like if I hadn't been involved in marching band and just band in general. And I'm not trying to say like that's what Connor needs to do. I'm not like, oh, good, let me just have you cookie cutter that, or like, copy and paste that same experience. 'Cause that's not how it works. But it's more that if he's showing an interest in a thing, I would love to nurture it as much as is possible or as reasonable. So I'm just kind of, again, never going to try to be like the special snowflake, parent or anything, but just an email over to the band teacher to be like, hey, out of curiosity, what would this hypothetically look like? What would we potentially need to do as far as like, would there need to be lessons? Would there need to be like, what does this look like? So we'll see. But I just thought I don't know. If nothing else, I'm glad that he had fun with it today. And that he was just so excited and all about it. So yay, that worked out. And it has me thinking ahead. Like, I think I've talked to you guys about summer is coming, and I really want summer to feel like, we're not just sitting at home on the couch all summer. I want to find things that we can do, give it some structure, and for both the kids. And hopefully, I don't know, this could be maybe a step towards it a little bit. But yeah, like I mentioned earlier, with milestone days like birthdays sort of getting me in a pensive and reflective mood, I was thinking ahead to, okay, the time between his 10th and 11th birthday went so incredibly fast, and what do I want to do differently from now till his 12th birthday? What do I feel like I can do better as a parent, and what do I feel like I'm doing well that I want to keep doing, So yeah, that's my frame of mind at the moment. And then Micah has been doing pretty well. I was so thrilled to have success with scheduling his sleep study this week. I had called Chalk again to check in to see, okay, like this is kind of the third or fourth time we've gone back and forth with trying to see if this paperwork has been sent over in a way that you can see and with all of the information that you need to be on there. And so when I called, I was kind of holding my breath, thinking like, okay, what are they going to say? And originally she came back and gave me kind of the same spiel as the first time, being like, oh, I see that the pediatrician sent over a referral and there was this information that was wrong. And so we tried to contact them 3 times. And when we didn't hear back, we canceled the order. As they said that to that whole song, I said, yes, I know that. And we've actually talked a couple of times since then. I probably talked to somebody else at the office, which is fine. But I have, a message from the pediatrician. The latest information is that as of this date, they've resubmitted the new corrected information to, this. And I said, oh, okay, well, let me check on this part of the portal instead, where it probably went. And which they had done, one of the past couple of times I'd called too. So I wasn't holding my breath. But then she came back on and said, okay, we have everything we need. We can schedule you for a sleep study. First available is date at the beginning of July. I said, great, we'll take it. So she said, I'll email you all the information about when to arrive, things that need to happen like beforehand and what it looks like when he gets here and stuff. And I said, great, here's my email address. And she's like, okay, emailed over this big set of information. Let me know if you see it. It's a great, nope, I can see it. And she said, all right, we'll see you then. And it was after she had hung up that I went, oh yeah, the pediatrician had said that there was a possibility that there might be like an at-home kind of unit that they could potentially do a sleep study with. But she didn't even mention it. The sleep lab didn't mention it and just said like, oh, this office has the earliest available. And I just thought, well, they didn't bring it up. I might try calling back just to ask because I just have no idea how this is going to go. A parent gets to go with him, obviously, and stay in the room with him. at the sleep lab, and Micah has to be far from the first kid that would have trouble sort of figuring out sleeping in an unusual environment like this. So I might just kind of be trust the process about it, but I don't know. We'll see. But I really wanted to try to figure out, we really want to try to figure out what's going on, because we've tried a lot of different things with a pediatrician already. We feel like he has, and his pediatrician agrees, like a really good routine, and as far as we can tell and control, like really good sleep habits and structure and all of that. And falls asleep on his own and wakes up on his own, but he's still ultimately ending up pretty tired during the day, even though he's getting what should be more than enough sleep. But the thing is we haven't noticed any obvious red flags. Like, I've listened more than once and watched more than once, not noticing like any interrupted breathing that we can tell. So, like, I don't think apnea is a factor, possibly. We don't know. We've tried, like I said, a lot of different things before we landed at doing a sleep study. So I am so relieved that we have it on the calendar, and very anxious to find out what may be going on here. So I'll keep you guys posted, and I'm just hoping that nothing comes up in between now and then that would kind of throw a wrench in things. So thanks for the positive thoughts and well wishes about that. It's, that much is taken care of. I haven't heard from the dentist yet with confirmation about insurance authorizing the dental work I need done. So I need to call them this week to check in, because this pain isn't going to be getting any better, and I'm sure it's only going to get worse. And so I'm very eager, between the fear of the pain getting worse and also just the overall anxiety of, I know this is what I need to get done now. Let's get it done and over with. I would really like to get this taken care of. So I'm going to call them this week and be like, so can we schedule that root canal? I also wanted to thank you guys for your reassurance about, just dental anxiety in general, but also about your experiences with getting a little bit of extra help with calming down with it. And yes, so the dentist had offered, they're like, we could prescribe like a Valium for you, as long as you have a driver, that like someone that could drive you to and from, we could do that. And it could really help with this just feeling a lot less frightening and scary and overwhelming for you. And so you guys sharing about having such a positive experience with that has made me feel less nervous about the idea of it. Even though I don't know how my body would react to it. I had taken I take like a daily anxiety med, and I have like a rescue med for just like if it's a particularly rough day. And at one point that rescue med was Xanax, but I only took it one time. And the joke that I tell about my experience with it was just basically, well, you can't be having a panic attack if you're unconscious, because all it made me feel like, I was basically non-functional. I just slept for 2 days straight. And I thought, well, this is great and all, but it's not actually what I need from a rescue med. This is not helpful. I need to be able to function in some capacity. This isn't going to work. So I'm just a little nervous that, like, is that all it's going to do, is make me feel like I need to sleep? I don't know what to expect from it, but my level of dental anxiety is so extremely high that maybe that's fine if it just makes me want to sleep. I don't know. But I just wanted to thank you guys for sharing about your experiences and for your reassurance as well, that I'm not just like a huge giant baby about it all. And so we'll see. I'm hoping, like I said, that they can get this scheduled sooner than later, for sure. Adam and I have just been generally trying to take care of our do more like self-care type stuff. And one of the things we had decided to do a bit over a week ago was we decided to set a time that we were going to try to go to bed. I guess not a time we're going to go to bed, but more like at this time, we're going to be done with what we're doing downstairs. We live in a 2-story. And what happens is that we both tend to get work done after our kids go to bed, and get, like, right now, it's after my kids have gone to bed. It's like 10:30 at night, and I'm recording this video. And it's also when, if we have downtime, like if I'm going to play a video game, or if I'm going to get, like, take care of paying bills or something like that. It's usually happening at this time. But the kicker is that it's trying to know when to wrap that up. And it's like, oh, let me just do one more thing. And all of a sudden it's really late, and we're getting to sleep really late. And we both want to try to move our sleep schedules back. So Adam actually brought up, he said, why don't we say that at this time we're going to be done with whatever we're doing downstairs. We're going to finish. We can, like, then wrap things up. Like, I pack the kids' lunches, he does the dishes, that kind of thing. But we're done with, whether it's work or leisure or whatever, we're done at this time. Then we go upstairs. And that, I feel like, is a better goal than saying, I'm going to be asleep by this time, because you can't force your body to fall asleep. But it's still moving the clock gradually backwards, so that by nature, then you're still falling asleep sooner, hypothetically. And we were pretty good about it this week. We weren't perfect every day, but like I said earlier, trying not to let perfect be the enemy of good. It's like we're still doing better than we were before, and we're going to keep plugging away at it. And so yay for that, and trying to stay on top of that. And got therapy, got, like, other stuff going on. It's just, when there's a lot of other really, really stressful factors going on in our lives right now, we're just trying to take these little steps here and there. The stuff that we can control. It's like there's a whole lot that we can't control right now. What can we control? Okay, let's focus on that, ideally in a healthy manner, which is a whole other story for me anyway. And this has been one of those things that I feel like we've actually done a decent job at. So hopefully this week we'll continue to do that, and then maybe try to inch the time backwards a little bit too. We'll never be, I don't think either of us will ever be morning people, but we could still do a little bit more of a middle ground than where we're at right now, which is staying up ridiculously late. Wake up to take the kids to school, but then going back to bed for hours is just, like, I don't know, I want to have a little bit more functionality in the mornings. So yeah, that's been on our sort of self-care list this week. As far as what I've been reading and watching and listening to, because we're getting to about that time where I'm going to wrap things up here. Here I was worried. I'm like, am I going to have anything to talk about this week? Every time. And I always manage to find things to chat your guys' ears off about. Reading. I did finally start Oathbringer last night. I did not get far. I think I'm still in chapter 1, maybe chapter 2. Oathbringer is the third book in the Stormlight Archive series by Brandon Sanderson. And I had just finished... Had I finished Mistborn's Secret History in last week's WIP and Chat? I can't remember. I think I had, which I enjoyed quite a lot. Also a Brandon Sanderson book. I'm basically just completely immersed in his book series right now, which I'm more than okay with. I'm having a great time. And so Oathbringer is a chunky read. I listen at like 1.85 speed with these particular narrators. And at my listening speed, it's still, I think, 29 hours. If you listen at regular speed, like one-time speed, it's like over 50 hours. It's a long book. Truly the definition of epic fantasy. So the very short amount that I have started with, I am enjoying it. It picks up right where the last book left off, which is great because there was a lot that happened at the end of the last Stormlight book. I need to know what happens next. So I'm having a great time. Glad to be back to it. I wasn't sure if I'd end up in a longer sort of reading rut before I was ready to start it. So glad that is not the case, and I'm into it. I'm very much a one book at a time person for the most part, similar to how I used to be with diamond painting. And I have one book going, And then when I finish that book, I can move on to the next one. I've always been that way. Watching, I haven't really been watching anything new this week, but you know what's sitting on my TBW, my to be watched list, it's staring a hole through me, is Good Omens season 3, or whatever they're technically calling it. That released last week. It's the 1.5 hour, what are they calling it? It's wrapping up the show. It's season 3. And the thing is that Good Omens is one of my favorite TV shows ever. And I'm very, very nervous about how they're going to have done this last season, how they've done this wrap up. I haven't had anything spoiled for me, and so please keep it spoiler free in the comments if you have seen it. But yeah, I'm really anxious to see what they did and how it's going to end. Because this is it, they've said it's this and then it's done for reasons related to the author that yeah, it sucks. What the author did sucks, but anyway, we're not getting into that here. But basically, we're talking about what I'm watching. I think I'm going to try to watch it this week. I would really like to see how it ends and not just be sitting here wondering, but I need to be in the right frame of mind for it. Anyway, so there's that. And then listening to, nothing really exciting here either. I found a fun millennial playlist on Spotify and have been putting that on in the car, and that's been fun. I don't pay for any music services, so it's got ads every 3 songs or something. But I just have been in the mood to listen to music from my high school and college years, even middle school, and that just has really done the trick. And I can't believe how many of these songs I still remember every single word to, and how many of these songs I had absolutely no business singing at the age of 12 or 13. Isn't that always how it goes? Where you're look, I just was here for because it was a good beat. I wasn't paying attention to what they were saying. It sounded fun, and so I was having fun. Yeah, that was me. And yeah, so then what I've got coming this week on the YouTube side of things, I don't know if I'll have any of my delayed Diamond Art Club sneak peeks arrive. I'm kind of just, when they show up about it. I hope that maybe I'll have some in soon, but I'm not, frankly, I'm not totally counting on it. They've had a ton of delays with customs, and they even posted recently about how big their backlog of orders was. It was something crazy, 25,000 orders. I just thought, well, my kits will show up when they show up, and it'll just be a happy surprise whenever they do ship, and I'll just have other videos to put up in the meantime. Speaking of, I think that I am all squared away to put up a Preston Place unboxing for you guys this week, so look forward to that. That'll probably be one of the first things that goes up this week. And I don't know, would you guys be interested in seeing a video either on what I wish I knew when I started diamond painting, or what I wish I knew when I started a diamond painting YouTube channel? Let me know. Be as honest as you would like to be, and I will be grateful for any input you have. All right, you guys, if you made it all the way to the end, we've got to go with a mermaid emoji if you've got one, because we've been working on the mermaids. So we got mostly just background done, and then a little bit of these darker outlines, and then we'll fill in. You could see it's a very confetti heavy piece. I'm not mad at it. I'm curious to see what their faces look like, which I won't get to do those until next go around on these 26 for 26 kits. But yeah, mermaid emoji if you made it all the way to the end. Let me know how you're doing, if you would like, and what you were working on today. And please subscribe if you would like to see more from me. I would love to have you here, and like this video, leave a comment if you want. And either way though, thanks for spending some time with me today. I hope you are doing very, very well, and happy crafting. I look forward to chatting with you again soon. Bye, guys.